Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode of iTrack. Big shout out to everybody that is just tapped in, man. Huge shout out to all the fam and members in the building, man. If this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy videos and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. I hope you guys have been enjoying your Saturday so far, but before we get into any of these new conspiracies, do me the biggest favor and hit that like button for me, hit that hype button, and subscribe if you're not a part of the iTrack fam, man, and let's go ahead and get right into it.
If you think Elon has a secret agenda, wait till you see his mom. The story begins with her posing in front of a horned figure, which they claim is a centaur, but this gives major Baphomet imagery, which makes sense when you take into account Elon's recent Halloween costume with a Baphomet symbol on his chest plain as day. It gets way darker though. Then you have this, horn-like extensions, gold ceremonial styling, a clear play on pagan priestess or ritual goddess aesthetic, and again, this horned headpiece, which also puts off Baphomet and dark priestess energy. This is where it connects back to Elon. Listen to how he just described the future of Neuralink.
And then later this year, we expect to do our first implant for what we call blind sight. Those are what I might call like sort of Jesus level or sort of technologies.
Miracles.
Miracles, yes.
And that is where this ties together. You have his mom pushing repeated occult-coded imagery. Then you have Elon talking about God, Christianity, and Jesus-like miracles. I'm not saying that technology that helps people is evil. But when you combine the occult symbolism with AI, transhumanism, and start comparing your technology to Jesus, Christians need discernment. Jesus warned that in the last days, deception would come with signs and wonders. Things so impressive that even believers would need to be awake. But Jesus didn't need a chip to open blind eyes. And he is king already. There's a full breakdown on my YouTube channel.
Well, this isn't good. The Hoover Dam might be heading into serious trouble, and most people have no idea. And this could affect millions upon millions of people. So here's what's happening. Because of record low snowpack and ongoing drought, water levels in the Colorado River system are dropping fast. And here's where it gets crazier. That could cut Hoover Dam's power, the output of it, by up to 40% as soon as this fall. I mean, we're talking 40%, and that's not small. And it gets even worse. Lake Mead could drop nearly 30 more feet over the next couple years, pushing it even past record lows. Now, why does this all matter? Well, because the dam's turbines literally can't operate properly at those levels. Some of them are already offline. Others risk damage if they run. So now utilities across Nevada, California, Arizona are scrambling to buy more power somewhere else. And here's the key part. That power costs more, which means you're probably going to feel it in your electricity or water bill. And the fix to all this? New turbines, upgrades, well, those are all years away and millions over budget. So this isn't some distant problem, it's already happening. And the real question is, are we prepared for what happens when one of America's biggest power sources starts failing? Because it's going to affect millions and millions of people. Let me know about this in the comment section. Appreciate you.
The word Satan in its original Hebrew, ha-Satan, means the adversary, the accuser. In the earliest books of the Hebrew Bible, Satan is not a fallen angel. He is not God's enemy. He is a member of the divine court, a prosecuting attorney whose job is to test human beings on God's behalf. In the book of Job, Satan appears before God and asks permission to test Job. God grants it. Satan is doing his job. He is not rebelling. He is not evil. He is a function of the divine system.
UFO/UAP. Images and videos from the files. Tic Tac video, FLIR 2004 USS Nimitz. Famous infrared footage of a smooth white oblong object, like a giant Tic Tac, off California. It shows incredible speed, sudden stops, and maneuvers with no wings or exhaust. Pilots were stunned by its performance. Gimbal video, 2015 USS Theodore Roosevelt. Infrared clip of a rotating saucer-like object with a glowing aura. Pilots reported a whole fleet of them flying against strong winds. The object appears to rotate smoothly while maintaining altitude. Go Fast video, 2015 East Coast. High-speed chase footage of a small, fast-moving object skimming over the ocean. It appears to zip across the frame at incredible velocity.
You still biting your nails? Let's see what's underneath. We got a slide. And it's about to go underneath the microscope. Wow. No, oh come on.
This photo was taken by the uploader's grandmother. It shows the uploader's uncle, and it seems like a pretty normal photo until you zoom in. Do you see that? What is that?
This is what I'm talking about when I say that in New York. $1,000 a week to park in the. I remember I paid.
Hey, New York, really? $1,000 a week? Yeah, you guys got it bad.
That keeps me stuck in the same place. Why are all the errors shared? Why do millions of people who never met fill the same gap with the same specific wrong detail? That is the question that the standard explanation just doesn't fully answer. So here's the timeline. 2008, the Large Hadron Collider comes online for the first time. 2009, Fiona Broom coins the term Mandela effect after discovering that thousands of people share impossible specific memories. 2022, the Large Hadron Collider restarts after upgrades at record energy levels. In 2024, they push the energy levels even higher. Now, correlation is not causation. Two things happening around the same time doesn't mean that one caused the other.
This house right here is for sale, but whatever you do not buy it. You have high tension, these are distribution electrical lines that have really strong magnetic fields around them that are just cooking this house beneath it. The magnetic fields coming off of those power lines are directly linked to leukemia in kids and will wreck your sleep and stress your body out if you're living underneath them.
Check this out. Apparently it's an old video coming out of China, like some kind of Chinese river, and like, what the hell is that thing? It almost looks like eyeballs. And it does appear to wiggle at the beginning. Did you guys see it like wiggling? Check this out. Look, that. What is that? It's like I don't know what it is. Like some kind of mud or dirt or like I don't know. That's weird. Now let me know what you think it is in the comments, because that is creepy as hell. It almost has like the shape of a body, but like it's flat. It's like a pancake. I don't know. When he turns it that way, that's when I get uncomfortable. That makes me uncomfortable. And why is he holding it like that? And why is he smiling like that too? Look at his face. That dude is happy as a clam that he's got this gigantic like animal cookie. It looks like a Triscuit on the front and an animal cookie on the back. That's the problem.
Unfortunately, for the first time in history, Google is undergoing one of their biggest transformations where they are basically going full AI. Like now, instead of normal search results popping up whenever you Google something, it's going to become an AI chatbot, somewhat like ChatGPT. And no one really understands why they're doing this, considering Google works perfectly fine the way that it is. And now even people on TikTok are mourning this loss and are searching up their very last questions, because the platform that we all grew to love is officially going to change forever.
Now, Google might be doing a misstep with this one, right? Because we all know and love Google for what it does. I ask it a question, it gives me an answer. ChatGPT is good where it's at. I personally don't think Google needs to be commingling the two, but definitely tap in and let me know what you think.
That is super cool. I haven't seen this one before. This one's new. Did such a good job on it. Wow. What a beautiful day.
We make of these files?
Well, I'm not surprised by them, given the testimonies we've seen in Congress under oath of whistleblowers, former military personnel, former intelligence officers, all saying that they've got alien body parts and crash saucers and reverse engineered technologies. So if they're saying we have it, to then have some documents that basically say the same thing, it becomes less interesting to me, given that we had high-ranking officials saying what is fundamentally the same thing. Now, what's different, of course, in recent years is you go back decades ago, the accounts of aliens were like the farmers in the back 40, revelers from the bar just let out. And so you had plausible deniability of any of those accounts. But when you have high-ranking officials talking about it, then you say, okay, let me even give them that. Okay? So from my perspective as a scientist, testimony does not count as evidence. Evidence is evidence. So if you've got it, just bring out the alien. Is that too much to ask, given all of these files and everything else? Oh, by the way, I would expect with $1 trillion budget or whatever it is today, the Pentagon would investigate unknown flying objects. And of course they would make them top secret. And if it's top secret, it's not a cover-up.
This TikTok user was flipping through channels in her hotel room late at night when she stumbled upon something disturbing. The screen showed a single static frame of a toilet that appeared to be illuminated by black light with no sound or movement. Dreading that the camera could have been in their very own hotel room, they decided to check out the bathroom. And to their horror, they did notice a vent directly above the toilet. However, what was hidden inside the vent was not a camera, but only a light fixture, meaning that whatever they saw broadcasted on their television had to be a recording of another bathroom, possibly from somewhere else inside the building. Another guest who had no idea that they were being watched. Even stranger, the feed aired on Bravo TV from 10:30 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. before returning to normal programming. The user reported it to a night shift employee who she described as creepy, who offered no explanation and left shortly after being confronted. They decided to call the police, but unfortunately, not even the police could locate any cameras or trace the source of the footage.
They will not buy from you if they don't see your hands. Showing the palms of your hands equals trust. You hide your hands, you're screwed. No one's gonna buy. So you've got to get your hands up above the waist all the time. Look at the difference now. This looks, now this looks. Now it looks weak.
This definitely falls under the category of body language, and you definitely might want to know it because manipulation is happening 24/7, whether you're aware of it or not.
Actors that were trying to tell us something.
I did, whenever you do a film like this where you fight Satan or the devil, you have to prepare yourself the right way. And so I did research in satanic kind of cults and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, in Los Angeles right now, there's like 50,000 devil worshippers. And that's not even that's not even including the agents.
Yeah.
But let me
Our
tell
crowd
you,
was too busy cheering satanic worship to hear the joke.
it takes a lot of research and
The movie Arnold is referencing is called End of Days and came out in 1999, and I have to get around to watching it because I'm sure it's filled with symbolism as well. This particular scene happens to depict the man downstairs in his final form. I mean, look at that. Should be of no surprise that this type of content was on Conan's late night show as well, considering I found a skit of him doing this.
This Danish soldier shows us how you can see better underwater just by cuffing your hands over your eyes and then blowing bubbles. Now, primarily this works better in murky waters, but if you don't have goggles and need to see better underwater, this method works.
So she said this is 2 nights. This is a complete infestation. And a lot of people are embarrassed because they have bed bugs. Bed bugs doesn't mean you're dirty. Bed bugs is like you went to a restaurant, someone who sat in the chair before you had bed bugs. Movie theater, like working in this industry has ruined those experiences for me because like everywhere I go, I'm checking my chair before I sit down. I'm checking the movie theater chair. I don't really take cabs and shit, but yeah, if you get bed bugs, at the first sign of them, call an exterminator because it's a lot easier to get rid of in the early stages than at this stage.
And all I will say is that, yes, we basically were told if we came forward and discussed these things that we would be discredited, or that they would try to discredit us and we would ruin our political careers over it. Not necessarily as a threat, but just kind of a warning because there was such a stigma surrounding the topics of this. But I'm never going to tell people what to believe. I simply was pushing for transparency. Look at the videos, look at the testimony, look at the files yourself, and then determine, it's not the job of the federal government or elected officials to tell you what you should interpret or believe, right? But what I can tell you is that there was a lot of shady stuff that happened. Part of my task force in declassification of federal secrets is pushing for transparency and following through on executive orders and direction that the president puts forward. So initially we started out with JFK, MLK, and RFK. We also had been trying to push for the release of the 9/11 files, but I was actually just told that we don't think that release is actually going to happen. And so that, going into all of these topics, when you have a federal government that's siloing information, that's not being transparent, in the history of the CIA, they are notorious for destroying evidence.
Yo, tell me how I'm like, why it don't work, right? Be like, you got a scammer. Bro, this shit is no fucking joke. And then as soon as I feel my shit, they cut me right off. Crazy. Times is different.
If you stuck a cup deep into the ocean and brought it back up again, it would be full of little bits of DNA that we can use to discover what animals are down there. But when they really did this, guess how much of the DNA was unknown? We don't know what animal it came from. The answer is 90%. They call it dark taxa. It might be from animals that we know about but never genomed, or it might be from something entirely new. Researchers are starting to use machine learning to fill in those gaps, and the hope is that they can use this dark taxa to group them with similar DNA. So you could start to say, this looks like squid. Is it new squid? So to see what they're actually finding, follow along.
My life changed once I understood that it's the natural law of the universe for everything to work out when you just relax about it.
When I get old, this is the wheelchair I want. I'm gonna be dressed just like that too, like I just fucking escaped the crazy hospital. He's definitely doing like 15 miles an hour.
Donald Trump has this gesture. So this is a version of this, the warrior. But politicians can't use this one because you come across too dominating. So you have what's called the soft warrior. It shows precision.
This is the belly I was talking about yesterday. That was what we heard. And that shit was Y'all hear that? Oh shit! No.
You're telling me that you got hired to take care of a woman who couldn't walk, but at night she slinks around the house and just stands and stares at you for hours? So this woman is an overnight caregiver. She sleeps on the couch at nighttime, and she said she kept feeling like somebody was watching her while she slept. And she would hear really weird sounds at night that would wake her up. So one night she decided to set up a camera, and she captured this on camera. The patient that she was hired to take care of because she couldn't walk, she was in a wheelchair, slinks around the corner of the room and just stands and stares at her for over an hour. Now, the woman isn't walking normally either. It almost looks like she still doesn't have control of her arms, just her legs. And this is what her camera caught. Literally an hour's worth of this woman just standing here like this, which is honestly horrifying. And like I said, if you go back and watch the way she's walking, she's not walking normal. It's almost like she's possessed or something's controlling her. It's really weird. What would you do in this situation? Let me know.
Well, first of all, it's pretty obvious that old lady was lying. Who knows why she was capping, but she was. And then I go back to the company and say, you guys got to pay me a whole lot more for this lady being creepy.
Pay attention to this video. We are looking at a dwarf, elf, or leprechaun. I don't know what it is. It's a small person or something else. But the funny thing is that it looks like it's wanting to get the human's attention. It's throwing an object so that they can see him or it. But what we do know is that the camera did capture something. It's a small humanoid entity that wants to get the human's attention. I hear that duendes, leprechauns, trolls, they're very playful. They throw things to get people's attention, but then they hide. They also like to steal items and hide them from you so that you can be looking for them, like your keys, things like that. And then when you least expect it, the item reappears and will leave you all confused.
What you just say?
The devil was talking to Jesus on the...
Now say it on the inside of your head. That's the voice that was talking to him right there. Right? It was Jesus. Like that voice was you. Right? And he was doing what people don't do. That's why he took a lot of time in wilderness, a lot of time to self. He was battling self. Right? Allowing those thoughts and those temptations to come. right? And not fight him.
So you believe he was in conflict with his own mind?
Yeah. And I also know that that's not a belief. I don't believe. Don't try to trick me.
So you don't believe? What do you call it? You don't believe, you don't know.
I know.
You
because
don't?
this is how I know. Because it happened to me. Right? I only can know the things that I know. When it happened to me, I know.
Hospital records in Yemen show that 96% of patients who come in after eating undercooked Lamnioa asiatica report the same hallucination, an abundance of little people, often described maybe as elves or other small humanoids, dancing, jumping, or marching through their real-world environment. They watch these figures climb the furniture, slip under doors, scale the walls. One account describes a woman who tried to capture them. Another describes a man who spent hours trying to communicate with them.
Check it out, Apple Maps. That's very cool. I love it. How many miles do you have to walk?
This I'm walking the whole Central Park.
Really? Today?
Yeah, I'm breaking it up between today and tomorrow.
That's awesome.
World Health Organization classifies this meat as a group 1 carcinogen. Eating just 2 slices a day increases your risk of cancer by 18%. And here's the thing about nitrates. The world is waking up. People do not want to have nitrates in their food. So you'll see all of these turkeys say no nitrates or nitrates added. But if you flip it over and you read the label, you'll see celery powder. Celery powder is nitrates, and it actually has a higher concentration of nitrates. So avoid nitrates and celery powder at all costs.
It blows my mind how we can't even eat to live anymore. Every time we go into the grocery store, there's a new item that's basically slowly unaliving us.
Terraforming Mars. Do we have to detonate nukes on the poles, or do you do can you put some big mirrors in orbit to heat it up, or
Yeah, the idea of terraforming has been talked about for so long, and it really is a question of, are all of these ideas even possible? But yeah, I mean, it's crazy because probably the best solution to it would be to nuke the whole planet, which is just insane. Why is that even a conversation? But yeah, that would probably be your main way of being able to actually heat up an entire planet. Because again, the scale that you're talking about in terraforming an entire planet, I mean, Mars is smaller than Earth, but it's still a big planet, and to fully change the entire dynamic of the planet, I mean, that is just such a challenge. And of course, then it becomes is that even something that we want to be doing? Who's to say that we can just go and go crazy and start doing stuff like that? And so
I think the aliens are getting mad that we have nuclear weapons on Earth. Imagine what they're going to do when we start nuking Mars.
Yeah, I certainly...
We're going to get a full invasion.
So we've already talked about this $23 million animatronic of the Na'vi shaman that is at the Animal Kingdom in Disney World, right? But I had somebody send me a video of it when it broke, and it is the most disturbing thing I think I've ever seen when it comes to animatronics. I'm going to show you the video later in this video. And the video shows it, and it's just it breaks, and then it just goes down. It's dancing and it's having a good time, and then its arm breaks and you can actually hear it snap, and then it just goes down. And if this video is yours, I can't find the person who originally made the video, so please let me know so that I can give you credit, because hello. Also, for free. And look how big its hand is in comparison to a human hand. That is so gross. Sometimes the shaman will break, and apparently it breaks a lot, and sometimes they'll just put up a screen instead of the actual animatronic because it's so broken it can't move. And of course, this is what it looks like under its face skin, in case you needed even more nightmares. Now watch this video and listen very carefully for a crack, and then it just goes still. It is so creepy. It's it can almost feel its arm breaking. It is so disturbing. Watch this.
Yeah, that definitely looked more lifelike than robotic-like, right? Because as soon as it snapped, it just powered down. Like, that's creepy.
Estoy sola, no mames. No hay nadie. Vete a la fregada. Uy.
Folks, check out this interview with LeBron James after a game in the locker room. You can clearly see something odd happens. And then you hear the interviewer say something about shape-shifting. You in turn hear LeBron respond back and almost acknowledge what he's trying to tell him he's doing. The interviewer is trying to warn him what he's doing. He acknowledges what he's trying to do. Just check it out and let me know what y'all think in the comments.
Watch his tongue.
Everything and more. To beat a team like this. So, gotta be our best, be at our best moment.
How would you guys get any team gets to an elimination scenario with the way we did last time that could piece together as it's constructed? Is that something that your group should acknowledge or does acknowledge? And what's key that you don't, not just focusing on the
Nah, you don't really talk about that. Focus on the moment at hand. Go from there.
JJ was talking about how they have the ability to kind of shape shift within the course of the game.
Shape shift.
Just because of the different personnel that they have, that you've been on some teams.
They was giving him the heads up that he was shape shifting.
Almost put something out on the floor that they have, and they're able to just switch on the fly.
I mean, just that's very challenging. They have the proper personnel to be able to, like I said, shape shift whatever you kind of put out there.
You hear him replay. He's saying, I understand. She was shape shifting on national TV.
In this next video is LeBron being interviewed at the 2024 Summer Paris Olympics. What happens on camera? I don't even know how to explain. Take a look. Let me know how you feel about it.
I mean, it's great. I mean, you be around your fellow Olympians and us representing red, white, and blue. There's no better time. And,
Hey, don't forget that psychopaths walk among us. Like people who use the cardboard part of the toilet paper roll. I know you're out there. Because I am you.
I don't know what the fuck I am observing right now, but this branch right now that this bird's on is floating in the middle of mid-air, attached to fucking nothing. It's a fade trap. That's what it is. It's a fucking fade trap. There is no way that's floating in the air by a fucking spider web. What the Alright, that's just a bit creepy.
Guys, this is mind-blowing. You need to see this.
Not Washington, D.C.
I'm at Tesla Global Engineering Headquarters in Palo Alto.
Yeah. So no more Washington, D.C. You're back at work. You're focused. Yeah?
Yeah, I haven't been to D.C. since May.
Okay.
That was a hell of a side quest.
That was a good side. Any lessons from your time in Washington, D.C.?
The government is basically unfixable.
Elon, only.
I applaud David's noble efforts in this. It's good to have talented people in the administration, but at the end of the day, if you look at our national debt, which is insanely high, the interest payments exceed the Defense Department. War Department budget, and they keep rising. So, if AI and robots don't solve our national debt, we're toast.
What do you get by insisting that there is no free will? Think deeply about that. What do you get by thinking that there is no free will? That you do not have any free will? Why do you want that? And if you answer that question, they have to answer that question. But if they answer that question, they will find out more about themselves, and eventually they will have to agree that they have a hidden desire to control, to have power, because they know the equations. They know more than you. That's the point. I had taken the same courses, I learned the same physics, and if I did not have this experience that told me that I'm more, I couldn't be here saying these things. But now I can, with this experience, I was able to invert our understanding and pointing the way to a different way to understand.
The word protein comes from the word photon. And photons are the energy that God sends down from the star called the sun that is picked up in a photosynthesis process on a green leafy plant. So where does all nutrition and where does all protein come from? I've explained it. A green leafy plant. End of story.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret.
For almost 190 years, the elite members of the Skull and Bones have sworn an oath to keep the society's business a secret. CEOs, Supreme Court justices, diplomats, and U.S. presidents. 64 High Street, New Haven, Connecticut. Across the street from Yale University campus is the home of an ultra-secret society, the Skull and Bones. Since 1832, the Skull and Bones has initiated some of Yale University's best and brightest.
The question we need to ask is, what exactly are they keeping secret? How do they come out the other side of this tiny initiation cult to become some of America's top leaders?
Phi Beta Kappa is born in the 1780s as an honor society for top students. Its oath of silence keeps many of its secrets hidden.
Phi Beta Kappa, which had come from the Masons. The Freemasons is in effect the grandparents, through Phi Beta Kappa, of Skull and Bones. Edward Everett, he later became president of Harvard, but he panicked. He didn't want his beloved Phi Beta Kappa to be associated with the Masons. And so he called a meeting of the chapter. Well, of course, the graduates outnumbered the current class, and they did what their president wanted, and they ended secrecy in Phi Beta Kappa. Belatedly, Everett realized that he just ended a key rule of the first American fraternity without consulting the senior chapter down in New Haven.
In response to Phi Beta Kappa's new direction, 2 junior members leave Yale's oldest honor society to found an oath-protected senior society of their own.
They decided to start Skull and Bones at Yale in 1832.
Controlling the institution from within, and arguably Skull and Bones has done that historically.
For the Skull and Bones, the oath would not only bar them from discussing society business, but also from ever admitting membership.
Vampires cannot enter a house uninvited. Turns out they invented welcome mats to bypass this rule decades ago. That makes so much sense. Vampires created welcome mats. Oh my god, they did. Everybody needs to know this.
Now that makes a little bit of sense, but there might be some cap in there, because you know what? If that's the case, any unclean spirit will just walk in your house and make himself at home. Smells a little bit cappish, but definitely tap in and let me know what you think.
If you're ever having a bad day, just remember you're not Jeff Bezos' biological father who walked out on him and his mom when he was 2 years old so he could pursue a job in the circus. And little did he know this decision would permanently leave him feeling like a clown anyways. And the worst part was that Ted Jorgensen moved on with his life, then really had no idea what happened to Jeff, or that he had changed his last name to Bezos, created Amazon, and became one of the richest men in the world at the time. That is, until 2011, when a reporter somehow found out their family secret, found Ted, and asked him how it felt to be the biological father of the richest man on the planet. Which of course led to Ted trying to contact him for years to catch up, but Jeff said no, and then Ted passed away.
This is one of the strangest pieces of official government branding I've seen in a while. So this is aliens.gov. It's supposedly about illegal immigration. But why does it look exactly like a UFO disclosure website? I mean, seriously, aliens declassified, they walk among us, this creepy kind of green retro terminal style text. And by the way, no, I don't think that this is secretly about extraterrestrials or anything like that. But look, come on. I mean, they knew exactly what aesthetic they were using. They know what they're tapping into here. It's almost like they intentionally designed it to trigger UFO disclosure emotional associations. You know, even the wording encounters, and they walk among us. I mean, definitely not accidental branding. Honestly, I'm still trying to decide how I feel about this, because on one hand, it's obviously tongue-in-cheek, and I can appreciate that. But it's also using this weird existential sci-fi threat type thing to talk about immigration. And that's a very specific choice. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Am I?
If you knew nothing about science and you read the Bible, the Old Testament, and I said to you, give me your description of the natural world based only on this, you would say the world was created in 6 days and that stars are just little points of light, much lesser than the sun. And in fact, they can fall out of the sky, right? Because that's what happens during the Revelation. One of the signs that the second coming is that the stars will fall out of the sky and land on Earth. So to even write that means you don't know what those things are. You have no concept of what the actual universe is. So what happened was, when science discovers things and you want to stay religious, or you want to continue to believe that the Bible is unerring, what you would do is, you would say, well, let me go back to the Bible and reinterpret it. Then you'd say things like, oh, they didn't really mean that literally, they meant that figuratively. So this whole sort of reinterpretation of how figurative the poetic passages of the Bible are, came after science showed that this is not how things unfolded.
China has data centers in the ocean that are powered by offshore wind. So why are we building these huge structures that are literally poisoning our communities? That's because China is living in 2050 and we're living in the 18th century.
This might be one of the strangest things hidden in Utah, and almost nobody talks about it. Hundreds of long human handprints are carved deep into solid rock, not painted, not etched, but pressed so hard into sandstone that some go 4 to 5 inches deep, and that's where it stops making sense, because no normal human hand should be able to do that when you see them up close. It feels wrong, like something was forcing itself into the stone over and over again. This place is called Indian Cave inside Kodachrome Basin State Park, and experts believe they were made over 1,000 years ago by Native Americans. But the real question is how, because these aren't drawings. These are physical impressions in solid rock. And the deeper you look, the less it feels like history and more like something we don't fully understand.
We see a future where intelligence is a utility, like electricity or water, and people buy it from us.
Wasn't I literally just telling y'all that these billionaires are buying up our water supply, gang? Look at all of the trillion-dollar, billion-dollar companies that's buying this shit. Hold up, listen to this.
The math is simple. Without water, the AI servers die. If we tokenize the supply now, we control the next century. Trump understands this. The USWR is what makes the most sense.
Y'all literally just heard him talk about USWR. Y'all literally see what's going on with this AI shit in our water supply.
June 19th is going to be a very special day. The world has been preparing for a water shortage for a very long time, decades. I will be officially putting $50 billion into signing the United States Water Reserve.
I literally showed y'all. They were talking about a Strategic Water Reserve Act. 50 Bs. They are literally about to inject billions into this sector.
Dream reality.
Beings from the spiritual realm can mate with human beings and produce not fully human replicas of human beings who can walk among us and rule over us. Like, this is a biblical principle?
Yeah, there were these particular rituals that were happening. In the Old Testament, Og, the king of Bashan, is described as the last of the Rephaim. He's one of these giants. Deuteronomy describes his bed, and it gives the dimensions. And the dimensions are huge. You're like, okay, he's a giant. We found a ritual bed of the same measurements in Babylon. And that ritual bed was used in these sexual rituals to produce the next king. This would involve shrine prostitutes. These were enslaved women. They would be seen to be possessed by the spiritual entity. And then there would be sexual relations with the king.
The temple prostitute would be the mother of the new king. And the idea was because she was possessed by spirits, those spirits would infuse the new king.
Right. That ritual was common throughout the ancient world. The most recent example is Japan. When a new Japanese emperor succeeds to the throne, he ritually and ceremonially spends the night with the sun goddess. They still do it, but the Japanese government says that the sexual element of it was removed after World War II.
So up until World War II, the Japanese emperor was having sex with a sun goddess?
Yes.
So let's make this very clear. If you live in New York, New Orleans, or Florida, they've already given you guys advance warning. Super El Nino. You have these interesting stories coming out right before a super El Nino, something that hasn't happened since the 1800s. So these areas are already waterlogged, and you think that a storm that hasn't happened to this magnitude since the 1800s is not going to do something interesting? So you guys think that everybody is just woofing or they're conspiracy theorists or something like that, right? When they know that Super El Nino is coming, and they know that these areas are not going to be able to handle that water. So you can look it up for yourself. Don't shoot the messenger, but be very, very careful, because when that water starts coming down, it's too late.
Some people might not remember El Nino, right? It did a lot of damage. It was front page news. Now, if they're talking about a super El Nino, I'm going to need all the fam on the East Coast to definitely take heed, and preparation is definitely better than finding a solution after the fact.
Humans, for the most part, don't have a clue. They don't want one or need one either. They're happy. They think they have a good bead on things.
Well, why the big secret? People are smart. They can handle it.
A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. 1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat. And 15 minutes ago, you knew that people were alone on this planet. Imagine what you'll know tomorrow.
This is from the Emerald Tablets. I'll just read it. Okay. Then gathered I, the sons of Atlantis, into the spaceship. I brought all of my records, brought the records of sunken Atlantis. Gathered I all of my powers, instruments, and many mighty magic technologies there. Deep neath the rocks I buried my spaceship, waiting the time when man might be free. Over the spaceship erected a marker in the form of a lion, Sphinx, yet like unto man. There neath the image rests my spaceship, forth to be brought when need shall arise. Know ye, O man, that far in the future invaders shall come from out of the deep space,
Brain never aged. Did you know that? The body is the only thing that ages.
So what about dementia and...
That's because you got tapeworms, you got worms, parasites. The doctors won't tell you because they can't make any money from that. Mel Gibson was talking about 4 of his friends with 4th-stage cancer, and they took ivermectin, and they were cured because they killed the parasites. Chemo is radiation that kills all of your cells, the good and the bad ones. If you live from chemo, it's because you are a strong individual with some really good cells and good genes and good body. Normally, the radiation will just kill everything.
They call it leaky brain.
So what do you think Wi-Fi is doing to us, since it's everywhere and since everyone's experiencing, including you?
I think it degrades your mitochondria and it, opens your blood-brain barrier.
Do you see anything online of how it could open up your blood-brain barrier? Damage to the blood-brain barrier. Radio frequency radiation exposure has been shown to affect the permeability of the blood-brain barrier, as well as altering the expression of microRNA within the brain, which researchers state could lead to adverse effects such as neurodegenerative disease. Whoa. How come we don't know that?
They call it leaky brain.
The findings were followed by suppression, misinformation, and a shutdown of government-funded research in the United States.
It's the same play.
Oh, we gotta get rid of Wi-Fi. What the fuck, Jamie?
What do you think elites believe is the secret to living forever?
The elites are actually obsessed with living forever, and there are different reasons why this is the case. Some have speculated that it's because they in their hearts know all the evil they've done, so they're afraid of the reckoning when they face God. They're afraid of being held accountable for their actions. So that's one possibility. Another possibility is they're just really happy with the life they have here, so they want to maintain that. They're afraid of when they die, they lose everything. So I think both are possibilities. But I think that the body is not the secret to eternal life. So you look at someone like Peter Attia, he talks about how to live longer and healthier, right? He's very expensive. I mean, he'll charge someone, I think, $100,000 a year just to consult on how to live a lifestyle that allows for maximum health in the long term. Brian Johnson, who is trying to live for as long as he can. There's a lot of money put into longevity research, but I think it's all the wrong approach. I think the secret is not the body.
You guys, this is crazy. The ticks are now chasing people. This video comes out of Russia, where they have a new aggressive kind of tick that is hunting people, chasing them down. Check this out. Homing ticks. This is terrifying. Ticks, homing ticks that chase you down, you guys. How long till this comes to a city near you? This was in Russia, but I don't know. This is crazy, you guys. What do you think?
Body cam footage just surfaced showing that the night before a retired Air Force general connected to classified UAP programs vanished without a trace. He had a secret dinner meeting with members of the United States Space Force, and a witness who was there says something was very wrong. Retired Major General William Neil McCaslin commanded the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, the facility long associated with recovered UAP programs, and the Nuclear Weapons and Space Force Research Hub at Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico. He is 68 years old, and he walked out of his Albuquerque home on February 27th of this year and has not been seen since. Audio released from a phone call captured on body cam reveals the morning McCaslin was reported missing, a woman called authorities, identifying herself as a colleague who worked with him on the Kirtland Partnership, a nonprofit connected to Kirtland Air Force Base, where McCaslin served as a board member. She told police they had dinner together the night before at a restaurant in Albuquerque, along with members of the U.S. Space Force. This footage was recorded the day he vanished and has only just become public. The witness revealed to investigators he wasn't his usual self. He was kind of spacey and quiet. She added he has a very classified security clearance. His name is in the UFO documents that are fixed to be released. His wife separately told investigators that McCaslin had been prescribed new medication the night before for sleep issues, alongside unexplained weight loss of around 20 pounds and anxiety. The morning he disappeared, he told her, "I got got better sleep, but it's like the after effects of a bad hangover. I just kind of feel a little weird. Hours later, he was gone. He took his boots, his wallet, and a .38 caliber revolver. 3 months later, the FBI is still searching. No trace has been found. Make sure to subscribe to Mostly True Alien Stories on YouTube. Until then, is this a mostly true alien story or not?
Oh yeah, clearly he knew too much and they were using that medication to line him on up. Because there's no way you just disappear like that with all these cameras and these satellites around and nobody knows nothing. Nah. Well, you guys, that's another one in the books, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys for always stopping by, watching, and learning with me. Before we get on out of here, go ahead and do me the biggest favor and smash that like button for me. Hit that hype button and subscribe if you're not already a part of the iTrack fam, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.